This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Fargo police just confirmed someone was stabbed this evening on Page Drive South. That's in the area of Applebee's and Perkins on 13th Avenue South in South Fargo. Let's go straight to Valley News Team's Aaron Walling live at the scene for the latest details. Aaron.
Thanks, Justin. I'm off of Page Drive South, where an individual was stabbed shortly after 6:15 this afternoon. And according to Fargo PD, an officer on scene said that the individual had walked away from where they were stabbed over to the parking lot, over to the left of me, and you could still see splotches of blood on the ground. Now, they're saying that that was a non-life-threatening injury and that they were taken to a local facility. I spoke to a woman that was here in the area. She didn't want to go on camera, but she did say that it was just a fight that happened between two people. And, she said that she's just thankful to hear that they were able to get the guy that was stabbed, and be able to take him to a facility. But I also spoke to another woman. She has a small kid, and she was just talking about how, it's kind of uncomfortable knowing that violence has happened here in her neighborhood.
It's uncomforting knowing I live right here with my son, so it's a little too much to, know what's going on, but yeah, it's a little uncomforting.
Now, I did reach out to Fargo PD and asking, hey, was the other individual involved in this case, were they arrested? And they could not confirm nor deny if that person was arrested because it is an ongoing investigation. Stick with Valley News Live. We'll bring more of the latest details when that comes available. Live in Fargo, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
New information on a story we've been following since last year. In March of 2021, a 6-year-old West Fargo boy was hit in the head by a stray bullet, what police called a robbery gone wrong. Today, a second person learned their fate in connection with that shooting. We've learned 18-year-old Jermon Edward Johnson Jr. was sentenced today to nearly 12 years in prison with 3 years supervised release on federal charges of interference with commerce by threats and violence and Hobbs Act robbery. Back in February, another man, 20-year-old C.J. Carruthers, was sentenced to 10 years behind bars for his role in this incident. The child survived. More new developments for you tonight out of Minnesota. The Princeton gym teacher caught on camera here hitting an 8-year-old boy in the face with a hockey stick has now been charged. The incident was, as you see, captured on surveillance camera back in March, showing the boy getting his tooth knocked out. Kim Neubauer was put on leave 2 weeks after the incident. She has now been charged with third-degree assault. Check this out. Flash flooding last night in southern Minnesota, damaging homes and businesses. Meanwhile, we may have some severe weather to contend with this weekend. First Alert Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joins us now with the latest. Hutch.
Justin, thank you. Good evening, everyone. And as we head into the evening hours, we've had a couple of thunderstorms tonight. They've been very spotty in nature. A beautiful setting sun here as we look from our home of economy location in Grand Forks. Look at it mingling with the towers there, the cumulus towers trying to develop. More on that in a bit. We have a beautiful time lapse of that. Now, our viewer Andrew sent this from the Carlstead and Strandquist area up there near Roseau County. I got to tell you, what a structure on this storm. Not super tall, measured about 40,000 feet, but wow, nice shelf cloud there as it worked its way through. And there was some structure with the storm as it worked its way through. It looks like maybe even a wall cloud on the backside of that storm. Here's where it was at 9 o'clock, about the time that he snapped those photos. Those storms now falling apart into Marshall County, but this guy here making its way out of Pennington County and towards the Red Lake and St. Hilaire areas right now. And has this little kidney bean shape to it, and a little bit of shear or spin inside that storm too. Some structure. Doesn't mean it's putting a tornado on the ground, but look at this, 36,000 feet tall. Those towering cumulonimbus clouds in the summer heat can reach upwards of 65,000 feet. The heat builds as we head toward the weekend. That's ingredient one, and then we need the humidity as well. It's already sticky in the atmosphere, and the green here shows that gulf of moisture air with the humidity all the way up here Saturday and Sunday as well before being swept out by drier air. That is the trigger that will fire storms this weekend. First alert weather days issued for Saturday, mainly late and again on Sunday. I'll have details on what you can expect in your hour-by-hour forecast, Justin, in a few more minutes.
Sounds good. Thanks, Hutch. New tonight, 4 people were hospitalized after a shooting in St. Cloud. St. Cloud police say the shooting happened around a little before 6 this evening in an alley near the intersection of 6th Avenue and 12th Street South. This is not far from St. Cloud State University. According to investigators, multiple people were involved in an argument before gunshots rang out. So far, no arrests have been made. Continuing coverage of our top story from earlier this evening, we are still waiting on police to identify the body of a man pulled from the Red River this afternoon. Just after 12:30, Moorhead police say kids found the body near the shoreline, the 1000 block of 7th Street North. Moorhead police recovered the body a few hours later. They say it appears it had been in the water for a significant period of time. New developments out of Becker County, where a man being sentenced for a felony escape charge escaped from the courtroom during his sentencing. The Becker County Sheriff's Office and Detroit Lakes Police are now searching for 25-year-old Alexander Robert. We've learned he was not handcuffed at the time, and upon learning his 20-month sentence, he ran from the second-story courtroom and out the building. Sheriff says he was last seen wearing a gray cutoff t-shirt and jean shorts. If you see him, you're asked to call the Becker County Sheriff's Office. North Dakota's sole abortion clinic is inching closer to $1 million raised from a fundraiser, up to about $930,000 right now, just since June 24th. Clinic officials say they've bought a new clinic in Moorhead and are asking for donations to renovate and refurnish it. We now know what went on at a 10-hour discharge hearing involving a Fargo teacher last month and what school leaders want to happen next. South High teacher Kevin Kennedy has been suspended without pay since April after the district received at least 6 complaints about him over 3 years, most saying he'd crossed boundaries with students, created an uncomfortable learning environment. We've broken down a new 9-page report detailing many of those complaints and what school leaders will be voting on tomorrow. You can find the details of that on the free VNL News app or valleynewslive.com. The former Minneapolis cop who killed George Floyd will be sentenced for civil rights violations tomorrow, and he may choose to speak at the sentencing. Derek Chauvin pleaded guilty in December to depriving Floyd of his constitutional rights during a fatal May 2020 arrest. Floyd's family will also be there. Chauvin is currently serving 22.5 years for murder and manslaughter. It's a child care dilemma with a worker shortage, child care waiting lists stretching for months, and costs becoming overwhelming for families. The Fargo Moorhead West Fargo Chamber is hosting a discussion to come up with solutions to this issue. It's happening at the Courtyard by Marriott in Moorhead on July 12th from 8 till 9:30 in the morning. At that session, child care providers, policymakers, and employers will explore the causes and effects of the lack of child care in our community. Staffing shortages have left one local pool in a pinch, leading them to be closed the entire 4th of July weekend. The city of Dilworth says, like many other pools across the nation, they've been dealing with a shortage of lifeguards. Right now they have 7 full-time employees, and they need about 11 to run smoothly daily.
A lot of the demographic that people are drawing from to be lifeguards are going to be your high school, college age kids. There's just a lot more going on these days.
They have other options. Mastera also says the city raised wages for lifeguards beginning of the season. It says they'll continue to work on getting the word out about openings. The pool was back open today. Staffing shortages have extended to health care as well. One Grand Forks family struggling to find an at-home nurse for their 9-year-old daughter who has a rare seizure disorder. Meredith Quinn says her family is going on 3 months now without that full-time at-home nurse.
Immediately there's anxiety. Imagine if you got 3 weeks notice that your child would have to switch schools or your daycare was closing and you don't know what that's going to look like, but it is also 100% out of your hands.
Sanford says they have tools in place to hire and retain skilled employees, but staffing is still a real concern for them. Part of the reason for all these shortages, people who want jobs, they already have them. North Dakota has the 11th lowest unemployment rate in the country at just 2.6% right now. You see how far it's dropped from its pandemic high in May, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We're now back to where we were essentially pre-pandemic. Still